given eyes to see, eyes to see, eyes to see, given eyes to see, but I can't see you.
As I told Jimmy just 2 weeks ago, and exactly two weeks ago to the minute, right now I was standing in his bedroom talking with him and with Rosalind, and they're both very old at 98 and 95, and he cannot stand up anymore. He's always in a wheelchair or leaning back in this tilt back chair. And so I was telling both of them, you know, I said, Jimmy, what I am grateful for is that I think of you primarily as a Sunday school teacher who inspired people for 70 years that you taught Sunday school. Secondly, I think of you as a former president and as a former or as a winner of the Nobel Peace Prize and those kinds of things. But mostly it's because you go out there and put what you taught people out on Sunday mornings out of the Bible about loving your enemies and loving people around you, and you put it into practice. And so you're a Sunday school teacher who went out and acted on it. And Jimmy and Rosalind both smiled and nodded and laughed and said, "That's great. I'm glad you think of us that way, not just as politicians." He's had a deep faith. He grew up in a setting where he was able to not just hear fire and brimstone all the time, but he was fortunate enough to be in a church about going out and, the emphasis was on what Jesus did when he looked out and saw the multitudes and they're hungry, and so he fed them, and he met enemies and he blessed them and made friends of them. And if it was women, even if they were prostitutes or whatever, no, Jesus loved them. He reached out to people and affirmed them. And so this got through to Jimmy and became part of his personality at a very young age. I know Jimmy very well and understand that that's been his basic motivation for his lifetime. All the time I've known him, for sure. The Carter Center, which he brainstormed with me one day in his mother's living room, and I mean, he was already brainstorming about it, and he said he wanted me to come over and chat with him some. And so I got to sit there and talk about this possibility of an organization. This is after he left the White House, of course, an organization that could have a big impact on peacemaking type issues, health issues, and election supervision, to have fair elections and all the rest around the world. And then out of that grew the Carter Center. Millions of people around the world are alive today and healthier, have more food to eat, medical facilities available, housing available, and all the rest because of their efforts than anyone else I know. They are people who put love into action. I guess I can't think of a better way to express it, but they just express their love to all kinds of people, even goofy people like me. And it just makes me want to get out there and work harder than ever to be a peacemaker like them.
I call your name. You were mine before you were made. If you search for a sign, you'll find it